Get the tools you need to become a free and independent trainer with my Dumbbells to Dollars course at www.dumbbells2dollars.com. How are you doing, everybody? Jonathan here, and in this video and in 5 minutes or less, your original Fit Boss is going to go over exactly why you should be very careful not to undercharge for your services. And I think this is something that we need to talk about because I see a lot of trainers who work really hard, who have a lot of good intentions, and I often have to ask them, hey, are you charging enough? Like, I don't think you're charging enough for what you're servicing. And I caution everybody to be careful about charging too low, because if you charge too low too long, eventually you're going to hate your job. And that can happen in one of two ways. So number one, let's say that your service is worth $100, okay? But you instead decide, because of your lack of confidence or for whatever reason, that you're only going to charge $25. It's not going to take long before you start to say to yourself, man, I got to work really, really hard just so I can get this $25. Like, I know I'm doing better than XYZ person over there. They're charging 75, 100, 125. I'm only getting 25. You start to resent your work. You start to resent your clients. And then all of a sudden, you hate your job. It can also happen in the other end, where if you don't charge enough, if you don't charge fair market value for your service, then you're going to end up drawing a lot of the people that are just looking for discounts, a lot of very hard clients to deal with, and they are going to make your life, I'm not going to say a living hell, but they're going to make it very, very difficult. It's going to be very hard to run your business. And I've dealt with this in a number of ways. Like, there was a time where I used to offer the Dumbbells to Dollars course for much cheaper than I should. Like, people still tell me, Jonathan, it's way too cheap. You should be charging way more. But like, I was charging the entire suite for like $47. And with the exception of like one person that I can think of, anytime that I got like a really nasty email or a really difficult client, it was always somebody that got the course at a discount. They were the ones that were always sending me emails with like all caps, multiple exclamation points, multiple complaints, wanting more. I'm like, this is not the type of client that I want. Even when I first started my boot camp, I would give discounts because I was just so desperate to get people in the door. They were always the most demanding, most difficult clients. All right. So you got to be very careful where if you undercharge, you can create a scenario where you don't even enjoy what you're doing. Now, there's an exception to the rule. When you get started, it's not a bad idea to start off with a free offer. All right. Kind of like to get your feet wet, to get experience, to get good at what you do. Oftentimes, at least with me, whenever I offered a free service, I came across some of the best clients. Like, I came across some of the people that just really wanted to help me, that knew that I was giving them something. Like, they tended to be appreciative of it. And although 90% of the time, the people that could only do the free, could not afford my regular rates, they taught me a lot. There was a couple of times where I got like, the guy's like a millionaire, and he came to my free classes and he gave me so much advice to this day. From like since 2010, he's been a huge asset to my life. So I don't think that you should discount free when you're first starting. But after you get your feet wet, after you know what you're doing, you got to make sure that you don't undercharge. All right. So how do you know if you are or if you are not undercharging? Really, what you should do is look at the competition in your area. All right. You should see what other people are charging. And then you have to make a checklist of what they do and what you do. And if the highest charging person is doing the same thing that you're doing, or you're doing it better, you should be charging what they're charging, or you should be charging more. Okay. Conversely, if you want to charge more, look around in your demographic and see who's charging what you would want to make, and then learn to do what they're doing. Okay. So then that way you can meet the market value for those services, and then you can make sense of however much you're charging. Now, the next thing that I would encourage you to adopt is not feeling sorry for people who say they can't afford your services. For a long time, it wasn't very hard to pull at my heartstrings and get me to do things that I knew weren't the best business decisions. Jonathan, I can't afford your training. I even get that now, where people are like, oh, Jonathan, I'm young, I can't afford your course. You need to put together a scholarship program. Can you put together a payment plan for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I did it a couple times. Again, it was people that didn't stay on with the program or people that turned out to be super difficult, always wanted something else. So the way that I look at it, when I first started my business, when I started growing, like if there was something I couldn't afford, I didn't ask for discounts. I just did what I had to do so that I could afford it. I did odd jobs. I just worked extra hours at the bank. Like I did anything that I could do. I sold harder. I got as much free information as I could from like the internet, and I learned and I read books, and I took alternative routes. And I don't feel sorry for people that don't work hard and don't have anything. I feel sorry for people that work hard and don't have anything, but I don't feel sorry for people that don't work hard and don't have anything. So if they say to themselves, or if they say to you, oh, your services are too much, the onus is on them to be able to afford it. It's not on you to make it affordable to everybody. Now, in terms of what you want in life, essentially you have to set a number. You have to set a number of what you think you're worth, and then essentially you take that amount and then you divide it by the number of people that you think you can service, and that is how much you should be charging everybody. And you really shouldn't veer from that, okay? Another thing that I want you to realize is that there's no absolutes in terms of the cost of your service. So, for instance, I'm in Nutley, New Jersey. I can charge X amount of dollars. If I take 2 towns or 3 towns over to East Orange, New Jersey, I cannot charge that on average. It's just a different demographic. Conversely, if I head over to Midtown Manhattan, I could probably charge triple. People won't even blink an eye. They'll probably still say that I'm undercharging. So sometimes you may just be in the wrong area. And if you really think that you're worth XYZ, if you're putting in the work, then you need to move yourself. Like I could have ran my boot camp in one town, but I chose to run it in another town because I knew that that's where I was going to get the price point that I was looking for. And the final thing that I want to encourage you to consider is that when you go to, let's say you go to Target or to Walmart or something like that, and then you want to buy a teapot. I just bought a teapot today. That's why I'm using this analogy. If you look at one that's $9.99 and you look at the other one that's $39.99, what are you automatically going to think? You're automatically going to think the one that's $39.99 must be better. Like, why does this cost $39.99 and why does that cost $9.99? Now, somebody that, they're not in the position to buy, or they only want to buy cheap, they're just going to say, you know what, I'll just take the $9.99. But that's not the client that you may want. You may want the client that wants the features that are in the $39.99 because you offer those features. So don't take your $39.99 product and charge $9.99 for it, all right? There are people out there that are willing to pay what you're worth as long as you're willing to go out there, get them, and be consistent with your rates. So that's about it. I just thought I would make this video to encourage you guys to charge what you're worth. Be realistic though. Like if you're a brand new trainer, you got like 1 year experience, you don't know nothing, you never trained anybody, you're not worth $200 a session. You might be able to get it in like LA or New York City, but like you're not there yet. All right. So you need to also be realistic. Look at whoever's doing it best and then see like if you can do what they're doing. And if you can, charge it. If you can't, don't be a dummy, okay? But that's about it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section below. I want to make more videos. This topic popped into my head, so I hope you enjoy it. But I'll be back with new videos. I got to remake some old ones, but I'll be back soon. So take this to heart, and as always, remember to eat healthy, hydrate, drive safe, stress levels low, get rest, don't stop anyway. Love your clients, I love you back. I'll see y'all tomorrow or the next day. This was longer than 5 minutes. I'm sorry. And you have a good one.